Hello and welcome to Andy and Katie's Allotment. I'm Andy and welcome to our YouTube channel. This is our March allotment tour. So there's loads that's changed, loads that's gone on, lots of planting, lots of sowing over the last few weeks, and loads to show you. Today's the 21st of March, so it's actually officially the first day of spring, and so let's see where we are. Weather's not great today, but it has been raining, but thankfully it's now stopped. So without further ado, let's go and have a look around the allotment. So as I say, lots to show you. So as you can see, the daffodils are starting to go over now, but have been replaced by some early tulips. So we're only in March and tulips are coming, so I think that's down to the unseasonably warm, mild weather that we've been having. So that's nice to see. Compost, nothing's changed. Just gradually rotting down. There's no heat, as you can see, but that's okay. I'm not bothered about that. I'm quite happy that things are going according to plan as far as the compost is concerned. You can see how wet it's been. That's my wheelbarrow. I forgot to turn it the wrong way up, and that's how much water we've had in the last few days. So, looking down the allotment, it's actually starting to look like an allotment now, which is great. Lots of things that I've planted, lots of things still to plant, but it's still only, well, 3/4 of the way through March, so still, as I say, today's the 21st of March, so still only the beginning of spring, but now hopefully the weather will start to improve. So the first thing, those of you who follow me regularly will have seen when I planted these broad beans. Planted them in mid-February, and then planted them out a couple of weeks ago, something like that, and they're really taking off now. As I said when I did the video, a lot of them are very leggy, and I did actually leave them too long before I planted them out. I should have planted them out much earlier, but for various reasons that didn't happen. But they are all starting to stand up a bit. I think what I will find is that they will start with secondary stems that will come up from the underneath, from the base, and just really start to fly once the weather starts to get warmer. So quite hopeful for them. What I've done today is planted peas. So I sowed these only 10 days ago, 11 days now, sorry, 11 days ago, and they're looking really good. I've tried to learn from the broad beans experience, and I've planted these out a lot younger. I planted them in a 60 cell tray, so they were quite crowded in, and I put 2 peas in each cell, so potentially 2 lots of 60 is 120 pea plants, but not everyone's germinated, but I would say that probably 65–70% of the cells had 2 plants in. So these are peas for pods. So they're just a traditional pea that you let the peas swell in the pod and then take them out of the pod to eat. But I think the amount of peas that I've got on here, I'm giving Mr. Birdseye, I think, a run for his money. But it's better to have too many than not enough. That's how I'm thinking. So that's peas for pods. Then over in this bed I've got 2 sorts of peas. I've got on, if I bring the screen round, so to the right I've got Monge 2 peas. So these are the ones that you eat the whole thing, and they're a more flat type of pea, so that you don't let the peas swell. If you do that, they tend to be a bit tough, I think. The other ones are sugar snap peas, which again are a Monge 2 type in the fact that you eat the whole thing, but you do let the peas swell and the pods swell, and then just eat the whole thing. So that's Monge 2 and sugar snap peas. Moving across, I had quite a lot of spinach in this bed. Planted quite a lot. Some of it survived, but I'm not quite sure as to why. A lot of it could be rabbits, things like that, that have eaten it. But I'm going to put some fleece over it. And so what I've done at this end of the bed and over at the other side, I've planted some carrots. I've just done that today. So I've got spinach in the middle and carrots either end. So again, those of you who follow me regularly will see that this bed, there's nothing to see, so that's why I haven't pulled the fleece back. Is my first early potatoes. So they're in there. There's 20 new potatoes. They're a variety called Rocket, and I planted those last Saturday, so coming up to a week ago. Yeah, so they've been chitting in the house for a number of weeks, with some nice thick chits, and then on from that I planted them last Saturday, and yeah, as I expect, nothing has really taken off yet, but there they go. If I move over to this bed, this is the red onions and garlic, and the rhubarb is now coming along quite nicely. This bed needs a little bit of attention with as far as weeds are concerned, and yeah, but the red onion sets that I planted in October last year, end of September, beginning of October last year, are coming along quite nicely now, really flying. And say the garlic there is going quite nicely. No signs of any kind of pests or disease, because there is quite a lot of pests going around as far as alliums, which is anything in the onion family. But touch wood, we're okay as far as they're concerned. What I also planted very recently are my shallot sets. So that's some that I planted from sets. Again, not expecting anything yet, but they will start to sprout very soon, I would imagine. And then once they start to sprout and the weather's a little bit warmer, they again will start to fly. What I've got here is the brown onions that I planted from sets. As I say, we need to get on top of the weeding on this bed, but as you can see, they're looking very healthy. They're growing really nicely. So yeah, happy with those. Then moving on to the next bed, got I had some extra shallot sets left over, so I've put those in this bed as well. So they're just the same shallot sets as I had over the other side. I did plant some seeds of shallot sets. Of seeds of shallots, and for some reason they didn't. They just disappeared, and whatever. So I don't know. I don't really know what happened. Moving over to this side, there are just a few of these onions, bulb onions that I planted from seed, again back in February, and yeah, there's a few there, but I think the majority of the success as far as onions are concerned are going to be from the sets. So if I move across to this bed, so what I've planted here is 2 rows of parsnips. Variety is one called Gladiator, which is a fairly popular variety of parsnips. So I've planted those today. The reason that I've planted them in this bed is because the other side is where I'm going to put celeriac. I've got some celeriac that is at the moment only just poking its head through in a seed tray at home. I did do a video when I planted that with celery, and as I say, they're just starting to germinate now. But the reason that I'm putting these two together, the parsnips and the celeriac, is that they are the only ones that I'm planting, the only things that I'm planting this year that are full season vegetables. In fact, they're one of the only full season vegetables, so they will take quite a lot of time in order to mature, so they will not be ready till autumn. So yeah, it's a long-term investment, but they don't take much looking after, I don't think, once they've started. So if we walk down the allotment, all of this that I've planted, all the peas and the carrots and etc. are going to get fleeced over after before I leave today, just to keep the wind off more than anything, and probably the rabbits, because there's a lot of rabbits. It's quite a rural area, so there's a lot of rabbits and birds that like small seedlings. So yeah, so it's going to be a case of keeping them nicely covered up. This bed, these are spring onions. Planted these out a couple of weeks ago. They're starting to come up quite nicely. So yeah, I'm happy with them. They're 5 or 6 in a clump, so that's what they'll hopefully come to fruition quite quickly, really. what I've done here is I've planted another row of spring onions just from seed. I've planted them direct, so I've put them straight into the ground, as you can see. Next to them, 2 rows of radishes to see how we go on as far as getting them, getting a couple of rows of nice radishes. So that's what I've done so far. That bed there is going to be, when it dries out, where my main crop potatoes are going to be. It's quite a nice sized bed, so that's where that's going to be. That's going to be planted out middle of next month probably, something like that. The bed next to it, that's going to be the celery, and I've also got some kohlrabi, some turnips and some fennel that are going in there because it's only small beds, and I've not got many of each thing, so apart from the turnips, which are multi-sown, so that's where they're going to go. And the bed over this side is going to be where the second earlies are going to be, again probably a couple of weeks from now, just to allow a bit of time between the first earlies, second earlies and main crops. They tend to be sown a couple of weeks apart. So if we start to move behind, and what I've done here is I've planted all different sorts of British wildflowers, and also they're mixed in with those are some native grasses. I've mixed in with that some yellow rattle, which I've been told is something that keeps the grass under control, so that you don't get all grass and no flowers, and the flowers can still flourish. So the red rattle just helps with that. And then at the back, where you can see what looks like sawdust, that's some pollinators flowers. So it's just a general mix that I had, that was just a case of scatter and see what happens. The pond I've cleaned out. It's looking a bit healthier than it was. It got a bit stagnant and a bit smelly, so I've cleaned that out. And as you can see, the apple trees that I pruned don't look as if I've actually killed them, because they are starting to bud up and come into leaf. So that's nice to see. So that's the tour for March. I say this is Andy and Katie's allotment, and I'd love you to subscribe. So press the subscribe button, and it does really encourage us when new people subscribe. It lets us know that people are interested in what we're doing, and so yeah.